Hi YouTube, it's Ty, and I'm back with my final thoughts on The Quad. I think that by now we all know that the show got canceled, did not get renewed for a third season, and I started reviewing the show in the second season, and of course it got canceled. Just like I started reviewing Underground in the second season, and that got canceled, and then I got super excited about reviewing Damnation in its first season, and it was canceled. So maybe I'll just stop reviewing shows that I actually like, because it seems like when I review a show it gets canceled. So anyway, rather than doing a finale review, I kind of had it in my mind for obviously at least a couple of weeks now that I should just kind of wrap up the whole show in general. I enjoyed The Quad. There were a lot of things that I liked about it, and there were some things that I didn't like about it. And even in talking to at least one HBCU graduate, there were things that she seemed to find, and shout out, I was just going to shout her out, TW23, check out her channel too. There were things that she found, I would say maybe problematic about it, because of all of the negativity in the plot. And so anyway, I guess I'll just share with you my overall view of what was good in my opinion and what was not necessarily bad, but I guess what could have been improved, maybe. So the pros overall, with the show airing on BET, I don't know what percentage of people who watch BET aren't necessarily black people or whatever, but maybe this show did give some exposure, or got people talking about historically black colleges and universities who never would have known about them before. So that's a good thing, and I think that anything that sheds light on HBCUs is a good thing, so that's good. And then this second season in particular, one thing that I really liked about it was that it seemed to have a focus on mental health and mental health management or stress management. Some people overlooked it for the better part of the season, and some people seem to be managing it well and others not so well. We saw Dr. Fletcher, for instance, and her daughter Sydney going to counseling, and because Sydney at the end of the first season had been raped, and so I'm sure that the whole family needs counseling after a situation like that. But then when it happening on campus and Dr. Fletcher being the president, Sydney being a student, it just hit way too close to home. So that was good. And then we see, and that's why I'm saying mental health and stress management, because we also saw that Sydney later said that she didn't need counseling anymore, but she was going to continue with her Krav Maga classes because it was a stress outlet for her. And then we also had Dr. Fletcher dating a doctor who she was using for prescription medications to help deal with, I guess it was some type of, I don't know what kind of classification the medication would be. I'm not a pharmacist or a medical student or a doctor or anything, so I don't know if they were, they wouldn't have been pain pills, but some kind of psychiatric medicine to help her relieve her stress. So she took it completely on the opposite end, but at least still there's that discussion, because that does happen to people sometimes. Sometimes people take those medications and end up getting addicted to them, and that's what looked like was the situation with Dr. Fletcher. And then we had also Bo John, the white quarterback on the football team, not the only white student, not even the only white football player. There was at least one more white football player on the team. He wasn't like a main character or anything. I don't think that he had any lines, but you would always see him in the workout room or on the field. So anyway, Bojan, that might have been stressful in and of itself for him, being one of the few white students there, and then being one of the few white players on the team. But then also he finally gets the position of starting quarterback, and then he sees that there's a guy coming up, Dwight, coming out of high school, who looks like he's going to be the next big thing on campus. And so Bo just kind of let that get to him. And I think that already, coupled with the issues with his father, Bo's father, blaming racists who kept telling him basically that he was going to colored university, and whereas before Bo didn't even have a chance to go to school because he had some kind of criminal past that Dr. Fletcher and Coach Eugene overlooked. But anyway, Bo finally had a breakdown. Things weren't going right with his girlfriend, Taisha, or the woman who he wanted to be his girlfriend. She didn't want to deal with him. So it was just like kind of nothing was going in Bo's favor. And then to top it all off, I came to this school to play football, and now this guy is taking my position, and, he's feeling threatened, and he just broke down and went crazy on the field at some spring exhibition game. And it pretty much caused Coach to have the assistant coaches to rush him off the field, and they stayed with him during the night. Coach kind of traded places and took a shift. Everybody's just kind of watching over Bo at this point. Bo's parents came to get him, and Bo's mother told him that he needed to go and apologize to his coach, which he did. And when he did, he also said that he needed some help. And no, I don't know that he said that he needed help, but Coach had set up an appointment for him with mental health services at the university. And so Coach took him to that appointment. And while he was waiting for Bo to come out of his first appointment, Coach Eugene himself called to make an appointment with, I believe, a psychiatrist because he himself was dealing with some stressful situations. As we saw, his wife, I guess estranged wife, had a major gambling problem, and he ended up killing the person to whom she owed the debt. And so just, the stress of dealing with killing someone, and it kept replaying in his mind, and I'm sure causing all kinds of stress for him. So he finally took it upon himself to make a call for himself. I think that he was kind of hoping that it would be something that he could kind of just talk through with Dr. Fletcher, because they've always had such a good rapport. But she's going through her own things, in the second season with the merger with the predominantly white institution, and even looking at possibly losing her job. So she just couldn't be there for him the way that we've seen them interact in the past. So glad that he took that step for himself. And then I'm sure that if the season had gone on, we would have seen Petaway needing some help, because he would have been dealing with the stress of losing his wife. That was kind of like the last big thing that happened. I'm kind of just glancing at my notes here. So those were, I think, the good things. I mean, there were other good things, of course, but I think that maybe part of the reason that the show got canceled, it seemed like the writing started to fall apart in the second season, and I wonder if there were a different set of writers in season 1 versus season 2, because a lot of things from season 1, in my opinion, did not get dealt with or resolved. And then to couple that with all these other new issues that are coming into play. For instance, let me see here, with Dr. Fletcher. One of the main things from last season is this issue with Jason, the student that she was having sex with at her old university, which caused her to get fired. And so now she's here, and he's followed her to GAMU. And so, like, kind of the last thing that we saw was him having sex with Sydney and her catching them in the act. But where's that going to go? And she told I never learned Jasmine Guy's character, but she told her about it, and we saw that that particular character, whatever that professor's character who was played by Jasmine Guy, we saw that she was a snake in the grass. So is that something that was going to come out if it needed to, so that they could, like put a final nail in her coffin to get rid of her? I don't know. But we needed some kind of resolution, I think, with Jason. Is he going to go back to Connecticut now that he's had sex with Sydney, with her daughter, and like, now it's shown you, so I can, since you didn't want to marry me, I'm going to have sex with your daughter and really stick it to you. It was just weird. And then her divorce, Dr. Fletcher's divorce. She and her ex-husband or husband were going through a very tumultuous looking divorce, and we don't know how that wrapped up. Was that supposed to be over in this season and we're just not talking about it? I'm looking to see what else. Let's see. Cecil, one of the main things about him, and I thought that it might come up again this season when Noni was doing her spying on Clive, Cecil's old student who wanted to get back at him. And Noni said that she was able to find out that he was using university funds to pay for prostitutes. Well, if we remember in season 1, Cecil was having an affair with a prostitute. Whatever happened with that? That seemed to be like a big deal, like that was going to be a big storyline. And then all of a sudden that just dropped off. And so we didn't have any mention of that. We didn't see her at all this season, I don't believe. If I'm wrong about anything that I'm saying, please correct me in the comments. And then let's see what else. Then Cecil has this son. All of a sudden, Cecil has a son now, which we get introduced to him. We meet him and we find out, the circumstances under which he came about, and then they just drop it. So were we going to have to wait till season 3 for that storyline to pick up? I just feel like there were too many things just being pushed into this, into one and now 2 seasons without resolving things, before we move on to another topic. That was just something that I didn't like in the writing. Let's see, what else? Okay, I'm just looking here. Okay, so Cedric, did we ever find his girlfriend's killer from season 1? And is the reason that he's acting all wilding out with all these girls and putting his dick everywhere is because he's not over the death of his girlfriend, really, from season 1? Are there people looking for him? It just seems like it was like he moved on pretty quickly, and maybe someone should have stopped and asked him, well, Cedric, are you ready to get into something with someone else? Did you really take the time that you needed to get over whatever his girlfriend's name was, from the first season? Just a lot of untied ends for me in the writing. And let's see here. As far as, again, with Cecil and Ebony, so we know, I guess, that the university made some kind of settlement with her parents for her to get like the big dorm room to herself, but for Ebony's father to come to campus and not like punch Cecil in the face, that was a bit strange to me. Let's see, and then Noni. So the situation with Noni and Cecil and how he was willing to use her to get information on Clive. Was that going to get Noni in any kind of trouble? Just seems like there would have been a lot of consequences that would have come up, with some of these storylines. So again, this wasn't until a season 2 issue, but Coach Eugene. So what happens with his family now? Is he going to get back with his wife? I think that we were all kind of hoping that Coach Eugene and Dr. Fletcher would eventually get together. if they'd gone maybe a season two or a season or two more. But we'll see. Well, we won't see. So, his gambling wife, did he keep her after all? Or, just a lot of loose ends. And it would have been nice to know if there had been a season 3, if Cedric was going to come back and be a father, and Browen would be, a pregnant mom on a college campus. Not unheard of. So I wonder how they would have dealt with that. And Jasmine Guy, does she have to be in every single thing anytime Black people go to college, whether it be on TV or on a movie screen? Anyway, it was good to see her again, though. I don't know if she's ill or something. She doesn't seem to be aging as well as Lisa Bonet, and I know that, but I do think that I've heard that there's some kind of illness that she's dealing with, but it was good to see her. And then I kind of just think that overall there were just too many negative things happening on this campus. Last year we take it from Sydney getting raped by Terrence to Terrence committing suicide, to, all the horrible things that have been done by Dr. Fletcher to her staff. And then, this season we had the breakdown of Bo John, and then the outbreak on campus, the merger. It was just like there was nothing like good and fun. Like, yeah, they had their little spring fest or whatever, but it didn't seem like enough fun and good, uplifting overall college moments. For what I hear, I've never attended an HBCU, but every one of my friends who has attended and graduated from an HBCU, there's like just this pride and there seems to be this sense of almost family. They feel really nurtured on those campuses, and it seems like to be, for the most part, a positive thing. One of the things that I hear that are negative, that seem to be across the board, are issues with getting ready to graduate and credits coming up short, and then issues with the financial aid office. So I kind of tend to think, and I joke with somebody, that maybe if they had gone for another season, that the guy who was stealing the money from Howard would have ended up at GAMU, because that's just like the kind of bad luck that they had on his campus. But anyway, it would have been nice to just see the series end naturally and hopefully have someone rein in the writing. Would Coach and Eva have been an item? I like to think that they would have. Again, was Cedric going to become a daddy in his sophomore year of college now? I don't know. Just a lot of questions, Would Bojan and Taisha have been able to work out their issues? Would she have gotten over the fact that this is a white guy that she's fallen in love with and stop acting ashamed of him? I don't know. So anyway, prior to watching the quad, I had been boycotting BET for years just because there's a ton of things that I found wrong with their programming. But after that New Edition story came out, and that was done so well, and I heard so much about it, I had to give it a second look. And I'm not just the hugest New Edition fan, and looking at the way that they did that 3-part series, I felt like I kind of slept on New Edition. Like, they really were trendsetters in their time, and they kind of set the pace for the way that boy bands were done after them. But anyway, so I gave BET another chance, and now I'm kind of regretting it because I did enjoy the quad, and I don't know that I'll be looking at anything else. I did hear that the show In Contempt was good, so if any of you are watching that, then let me know, and I might consider it. But so if you know any shows that are worth me watching to review, then let me know. I kind of just want to do the scripted shows. I'd rather stay in that lane because I watch so many people who review reality shows and they do it so well. please check out my Twisted Life TV with poetry for reality show reviews. Duran Probos, Be Fabulous, Be You, Color Me Pink. I watch so many people for reality show reviews, but I would like to stay in the scripted lane. So if you have some suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, maybe I'll just review shows that I want to see get canceled, because that seems to be the formula. So anyway, I hope you all have a great day or night or evening, weekend, whatever, whenever you're watching this. And thanks for tuning in. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and share if you want to. I'm trying to give you guys something every day for the month of May, whether it's an upload or a live stream. So if you have any suggestions on something that you want me to talk about, I'm also going to do some videos on colorism, and I'm going to do some more things with my dogs. I want to brush their teeth on camera. I don't know why, that's just something I want to do. But anyway, any suggestions I'm open to, and I hope that you all have a fabulous day. Thanks for sticking with me. Bye-bye.